I had masked for so long, silenced for so long that you lose the ability to express all emotions. I refused to cry when I had my two youngest children, which were natural childbirths. There was a part of me that wanted to cry because of the physical pain, but my shadow wouldn't allow me because I still feared being seen as weak, even though I was bringing life into this world. So that's kind of how deep my coping mechanisms went when it came to silencing my emotions. Um, but those coping mechanisms helped me survive that environment when I was a child. And they helped me survive that environment by shutting down my emotions. When I would shut down my emotions, it made the little girl inside of me feel safe because when she was quiet about her emotions and her sadness, she wasn't judged for having big emotions. And she didn't have to face any consequences for those big emotions. So she found safety in silence. She found acceptance in silence. She found validation in silence. So the additional lessons that I learned. So as I was putting together this lesson and I was answering some of the questions to use as an example, I started to notice that there were other things that I learned by silencing my emotions. And this is just me thinking back from the time that I was maybe a preteen all the way up until right now. All of the things that I missed out on because I didn't know how to express my emotions. So, avoiding the expression of sad emotions didn't just teach me it's safer to not express, it also robbed me of opportunities to learn how to express all of my emotions. I was so fearful to express my emotions and just trying to escape judgment. There weren't any opportunities for me to learn how to verbalize myself or my vulnerabilities. Those missed opportunities became the reason why I struggled to express my thoughts and emotions when I entered into friendships and relationships and business partnerships as an adult. Every time my parents judged me for having big emotions, they unknowingly taught me to not trust anyone with my big emotions, even the people who cared about me. I still believed I would be judged because of the limiting beliefs that were planted in me through that particular environment. Every time I hid my emotions or avoided telling my parents about hard days at school, I avoided being punished for not ignoring my bullies. And I avoided being called nicknames that made me feel self-conscious. So ultimately, I learned safety by hiding myself. I learned safety in silence. When it came time for me to express my emotions, I didn't have the tools to do that. And I didn't have the regulated nervous system to express myself with confidence or even speak in front of people. So, emotional avoidance and lack of trusting people with my emotions actually dimmed my light because you can't really determine a person's personality until they speak, until they open their voice, until you hear how their words sound, how their tone of voice feels to your nervous system. So I lost parts of my personality because of being so emotionally avoidant and not trusting people with my emotions. I lost my personality. And it's something that I have to consistently work on because the courage to be vulnerable is deeply connected to my purpose. The courage to speak and to express and to communicate through a frequency. That's part of my purpose. So I still have to work through those things. And it was just so interesting to think about all of these other unintentional additional lessons that we learn through our childhood trauma. As we get older, as we get on the other side of the trauma, we realize that there were so many opportunities that were missed where we could have learned how to do better.